Brandon Judd, National Border Patrol Council President, in Focus Now. Welcome. When I hear you say the words that you'll just be good to get 5% of what's out there, what are you telling us is really out there?
Oh, first off, I don't say that lightly. I do that based upon information that we have, intelligence that's been gathered. We know that drugs are being smuggled across the border every single day. It's not being smuggled across the border once a week, once a month. It's being smuggled across the border every single day. Yet our seizures, we might have a seizure by happenstance, I don't know, once a week maybe, if we're lucky. So when you look at that and then you look at the amount of product that's on the street, when you look at the street value, how low the street value is, that tells you how much product is out there and how readily available it is to our children. And that's what's scary about this. And that's why I make the statement that if we seize even 5% of what is crossing that border between the ports of entry, we are very lucky. And that is extremely scary.
So, you know, you brought up the word children, and that's been somewhat of a focus this hour as we see some Democrat-led states now lifting school mask mandates. And why do I merge those two together? Because children are the heart of the future, obviously. And if this is aimed at a predominantly younger population and the White House doesn't do something soon, what happens?
It is aimed at the younger population. Cartels, drug smugglers, they recognize that if they get children hooked on this, they're going to be hooked for the rest of their lives. So there's always going to be that residual income that's always coming in. It's better to go after the children, after the vulnerable children. And that's, again, what scares me the most and what upsets me the most about this administration is that they're throwing our children under the bus to appease an open border base. They will not secure the border simply because for them, it's not politically expedient. And that is a disservice to our entire country, and it's throwing every single one of us under the bus simply because in their minds, it's better for them.
Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich has now issued a legal opinion. He said he would, and now he has, declaring the border crisis a, quote, invasion. Here's what he writes. The violence and lawlessness at the border caused by transnational cartels and gangs satisfies the definition of an invasion under the United States Constitution. An actual invasion permits the state to engage in defensive actions within its own territory at or near its border. Brandon.
Yeah, I don't see how you can possibly argue against that. When you look at Border Patrol agents, when we go out there and we put the uniform on, we feel defeated. We know that we're not being given the resources to go after the cartels, to control what is currently happening. So you look at this and you look at how the cartels are dictating to us what our operations and policies are. That is clearly invasion. Then you add on top of that the sheer numbers of people that are crossing the border. You know, Harris, you know Yuma extremely well. When you only have 4 agents patrolling the border for 150 miles, you know darn good and well that that's wide open. There's nothing that we can do to stop anything that's crossing the border. And then the cartels, they're simply driving thousands of people across our border, knowing that it's going to tie our hands up and it's going to further deplete our resources in the field. Yeah, I cannot argue against what Attorney General Brnovich says.
Brandon, I just have to press in. We don't have a lot of time, but you said 4.
Yeah, 4 for 150 miles. At any given time, we have 90% of our resources doing administrative duties, not patrolling the border, administrative duties. That is not going to secure the border, and that's why the cartels are making so much money.
Yeah, that's dangerous. I mean, you're talking about fentanyl, but I'm also thinking potential terrorists. Like, I'm thinking total picture here. And I know that stretch of land.
Everything is crossing that border.
All of that administrative duty now pulled resources away from where they need to be. Brandon Judd, thank you for being in focus today.
Thank you for having me.